Hello BookTube! Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and this is going to be my Week 4 wrap-up for March Mystery Madness. I really can't believe that March is almost over. I tell you, I have just had so much fun reading mysteries this month and getting to know more of you and hearing about what you're reading, and it's just been so much fun. And this last week of March, there is also another mysteries challenge going on. Leslie at Words of a Reader is hosting a mystery challenge this week as well, and it is hashtag mysteries in March. So if you're reading mysteries this last week of March, use both hashtags. And, let's just all be one big group of mystery fans reading mysteries together this week. All three of the video challenges are up now, and I want to encourage you to take a look at those and, try to throw up a quick video of, any or all of those video challenges. It's not too late to do it. I would love to see some. I have seen some of the tag videos, and I hope that some of you will do the make or bake and also show off your pets for the pet detective themed challenge. Whatever you want to do that's related to mysteries, I hope you will have fun, and just let's enjoy this fun last week of March Mystery Madness. For my wrap-up purposes, I divided March up into 5 groups, and this wrap-up will be for Sunday through Friday, March 20th through the 25th. And I finished 5 books. 2 of them I had started the previous week. One of those was pretty long. 3 of the 5 were audiobooks and 2 were print books. So let me show you what they were. And one of the audiobooks that I listened to was In the Company of Cheerful Ladies by Alexander McCall Smith. This is book 6 in the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series. This book was very enjoyable. The storylines in this particular book did not really revolve around mysteries. The storylines progressed with some of the characters, but there wasn't really a lot of mystery in this particular book. Still very enjoyable, and if you're reading the series, you don't want to skip this one. Because there were some important things that happened in the lives of the main characters. I'm still definitely enjoying the series and plan to continue it. Now, this book I had started during the previous week and had gotten about halfway through it, so I finished this up within the first day or 2 of this week. And then I moved on to The Cat Who Robbed a Bank by Lillian Jackson Braun. Now, I'm getting farther on in the series, and I think it was Sarah from Novel Expectations that said once on a video that the last few of the Cat Who books were not actually written by Lillian Jackson Braun, and so that she didn't think they were as good. And I wonder if I'm getting into that category, because I didn't feel like this one was quite as good as some of the previous ones. I have really been enjoying this series, and this is book 22 out of 29, I think. And so this one, it was still good, but it didn't wow me like some of the earlier books. So, I'm definitely going to finish the series. I love it, but I'm wondering if maybe this one is not actually written by the original author. Now, the other audiobook that I was listening to is Green River Running Red on Playaway from the library. And this was my true crime novel for March Mystery Madness. I don't think I've ever read or listened to a true crime novel before, and I found this one very intriguing. It was very interesting. I'm not sure that I'm going to become a regular true crime reader, but I am kind of intrigued to read. Now, this is by Anne Rule, and in the introduction it mentioned her first true crime novel, which I think was called Stranger Among Us, something like that, and it was about Ted Bundy, who had been her partner in a job that she had done. And so I'm kind of really interested in reading that now, so I may see if our library has it on audio too. This was about Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. These murders took place in King County, Washington, and Gary Ridgway was convicted of killing 49 young women over the course of several years, mostly in the 80s, and he wasn't caught and convicted until early 2000s. He is said to be the country's most prolific serial killer, and it was very interesting, very fascinating, especially after it got to the part where they caught him and were interviewing him and the things he said. I feel like I can't say I like this book or enjoyed this book, because I didn't enjoy it at all, but it's fascinating and kind of riveting to kind of look into that world of crime and criminals. And I've never been involved or known anyone who's been involved in a violent crime, and so it was very interesting to kind of peek into that world of crime fighters and crime scene investigators, and and it's different. True crime, it has a totally different feel when it's not just a fiction. When it's fiction, you can just kind of laugh it off and go, oh yeah, that's just, that's not real, that didn't really happen. But when you're reading true crime, you have to acknowledge that this is reality. This really happened. Someone really did suffer, and someone really was psychopathic enough to do these crimes. So it's disturbing. It really is. But I thought it was very well written, and it did make me interested to read more by Ann Rule. Maybe not much more, but possibly at least one other book. So yeah, it took me out of my comfort zone, and I'm glad I read it. Now for my print books this week, I read some really light, girly, old lady-ish, old-fashioned, cozy mysteries, and it was a wonderful diversion from the true crime. Let me tell you, I loved these books, and I definitely cannot wait to read the rest of this series. I have 14 of these right now. My goal is to read all 14 of these. There's like twice as many in the series, but I currently have 14 of them that a friend gave me, and my plan and my goal is to finish these first 14 so that I can take them to my sister at Thanksgiving. And I thought I would read at least 2 a month to be able to finish these by Thanksgiving. I may read more than 2 a month some months, because I love these so much. Now, I will acknowledge that these are not going to be for everybody. There's nothing particularly exciting or earth-shattering about these books. The main character is a quilt restorer, and the mysteries so far that she has solved in these 2 books have been historical mysteries, where she's had to research through microfilm and old newspapers and old photographs and old houses and things like that. They're kind of genealogical mysteries, and yet they do involve crimes that have taken place. So I love these books. Oh my goodness, they're so good. And they were such a good diversion from the true crime, let me tell you. I really needed this to offset this, for sure. So the first book in this series is called Family Patterns, and it's by Kristen Eckhart. This series is published by Guidepost, and I think it is available. I mean, I think some libraries do have them, and of course they're available on Amazon. I was when my friend actually gave me 13 out of the first 14, and I was able to find the missing book on Amazon. So I know you can get these if you're interested in these. The second one is Time to Share by Joanne Brown. These take place in a small town called Maple Hill, Massachusetts, and the main character is a quilt restorer, and she has her son and daughter-in-law and twin granddaughters have recently moved back to their hometown and have purchased the childhood home of her father. Now, it had been sold out of the family, and then now her son has bought it again. She lives in a different house. In this town, there are a lot of old Victorian homes and just a lot of historical sites. It's Massachusetts. A lot of Revolutionary history and Civil War history, things like that. Sarah is our main character, and the first mystery involves the disappearance of her grandmother, who disappeared 90 years earlier. And her father is still living. He is like in his 90s, and he's currently in a nursing home, but he never knew. His mother disappeared when he was 6, and he never knew what happened to her. So when Sarah's son moves back into her father's childhood home, her granddaughters stumble upon a hidden passageway, and so they go exploring this passageway, and they find her father's old baby quilt, and it had disappeared on the same night that his mother disappeared. And so because she's a quilt restorer, she takes the quilt, and as she's restoring it and kind of taking it apart to restore it, she finds clues in it as to what happened to her grandmother. And so I just thought it was fascinating. Oh my goodness. This is definitely my kind of book. For those of you that like, Stephen King and excitement and thrilling and thrillers and all that kind of stuff, this is probably not the book for you, but I love this book so much. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to read the rest of the series. This is perfect. This is just a perfect, light, feel-good read for me, with a little bit of, with mystery thrown in, so that you have to think about it a little bit and try to figure out who did the crimes, but they're just great. So, first two, Family Patterns and Time to Share. You will definitely be hearing more about these on my channel during the coming months because I am definitely going to be continuing this series between now and Thanksgiving. So the next one is called Muslin Mystery. I probably won't pick it up until April because I've still got some other stuff to finish up this next week, but I am definitely looking forward to reading more in this series. So those are the 5 books that I finished in week 4. Now let me show you real quick what I plan to read for the last 6 days of March. So when I got up this morning, I couldn't decide whether to start with Agatha Christie's Evil Under the Sun or Nancy Atherton's Aunt Dimity's Death, which is the first in this series. And I think the Aunt Dimity book will fulfill the paranormal mystery challenge, but for some reason when I got up I was just really in the mood to pick up this Agatha Christie. So I did. I just decided, you know, I'm going to get them both read this week anyway, so it doesn't really matter which one I start with. And I picked this up and I read at least one chapter, and I thought it was really good so far. But then I decided to go ahead then and take a look at this one, and I think I've read 3 chapters of this one so far. So I think I'm actually going to like this one a lot. I probably will go ahead and finish this one up next because I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. And I've heard good things about the Aunt Dimity series from at least one other booktuber who said that they were just really light and really fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Then on audio, I have also already dabbled a little bit. I couldn't decide which of these to start with. I listened to a little bit of Dead Wrong by J.A. Jance. And then I also listened to a little bit of The Secret Speech by Tom Rob Smith. This is probably the one that I will go ahead and listen to first because I want to make sure that I get this one done. This one is to fulfill the challenge to read a book in a different region from where you live. Alexander McCall Smith book would count for that. I was trying to do a different book for each challenge, so I would like to go ahead and get this one done. This is the second book in the Child 44 trilogy, and so I would like to go ahead and listen to it. My husband's already listened to it, and he said he enjoyed it. So, but I'm planning to go ahead and listen to both of these before the end of the month. Another audiobook that I picked up today, I didn't have this on my TBR, but I noticed that my library had it, and it's on Playaway. It's book 7 in the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series called Blue Shoes and Happiness. And so Playaways are so handy just to have in your purse or your pocket for a time like if you're walking. See, I don't have a smartphone yet. I will be getting one pretty soon. So my audiobooks are limited to listening in my car or listening on my CD player, which is in my kitchen. And of course I can move that around the house, but that's usually where I listen to audiobooks. So the Playaways are great because kind of like a smartphone audiobook, you can stick it in your pocket and walk around with it. So, so that's what this is, and I will probably get this done before the end of the week as well. Then if I have any more time, I have a couple of other kid mysteries that I'd like to get to. I have this already on my currently reading list. It's called The Mystery at Disney World by Carol Marsh, and this is book 11 in the Carol Marsh mystery series. But I looked at the series. I did check out the first one from the library, and I just to kind of learn a little bit more about the series. And it looks like that each book has different kids in it. I don't think it's necessary to read them in order or even to read all of them. And I'm really just interested in this Disney World one. So the first one was Mystery at Biltmore House. So I'm probably not going to read it, at least not at this point. But I am curious to read this. And I picked this up at a book sale, so I don't have to return it to the library or anything. And if I don't get to it this month, then that's fine. The same thing with this one. This is the first Happy Hollister book. It's just called The Happy Hollisters. And I had been just kind of wanting to revisit this series. I had not read any of these since my childhood. And if I don't read it this month, then I'll get around to it at some point. But I had put it on my original TBR. You know, it's a kid's book, and it's only about 180 pages, large font. So if I can get to it, then I will. So those are books that I have read this past week and that I am planning to read this coming week for the last week of March Mystery Madness. Thank you all so much for participating, even if you just helped by shouting it out to other people. I appreciate it so much. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope to do March Mystery Madness again next year. And our Goodreads group is going along great. I finally got on there this past week and commented and participated in some of the discussions, and I'm hoping that we can just continue discussing mysteries all year long, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I guess that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day, read a good book, and God bless you.